Welcome to the Wish List. I am your host, Wishmaster, and I'm with a huge legend today. Just such a good dude and amazing studio, and he's been through so much shit, and we're going to talk about that today. But I want to welcome Peter Keys today.
What's up, everybody? Grateful to be here. Grateful to be anywhere.
Yeah. So let's start off. Where are you from, and how did you get into music, man?
Oh man, I'm from Mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many?
That's how I got into music. Oh man. Now, I was born on the East Coast. Migrated to the West Coast when my folks divorced when I was about 12. Lived in Northern California for about 20 years.
Okay.
Went back to Berklee College of Music in Boston and got thrown out in one semester. And then went back to San Francisco Bay Area and started playing in all of these local bands with a bunch of cats, man, bunch of older.
What would you play back then? What was your instrument of choice?
I've been playing keyboards my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to. I've got actually my 1923 Steinway Baby Grand out there that my parents used to play duets on, and I'd go to sleep underneath it.
That's awesome.
So I remember like reaching up and hitting the keys and being like, "Oh, what is that? That's
right.
a sound." And it's like that. That was kind of what got me hooked. Is the fact that I could do something, make a sound, it would come back at me, and I would feel it. It was just my first, exploration in expression, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you were in Detroit?
Yeah, so I played around the Bay Area for about 20 years. Moved to Atlanta on a dare, and went there for what was supposed to be a session for about 2 weeks with a friend of mine, a drummer from Atlanta, and ended up there for 3 years. That's where I hooked up with Parliament Funkadelic and started touring with them. So I got to make a prodigal son visit back to San Francisco in a tour bus, and showed up for all my friends playing in a big sold out show. Did my first stage dive that actually got caught instead of hitting the ground. And, went back to Atlanta, and then the tour ended, and I had to go flip burgers. And I was like, wow, I was famous for 5 seconds.
Nice. We've all had that story. So,
yeah. But anyways, then I went and crashed my brother's wedding in '99 because I wasn't invited, and met and married the maid of honor, who was from Detroit, and
nice.
She moved me back to Detroit because, well, she had an apartment and she was a bartender.
So it should be probably Peter Player and not Peter Keys.
But anyways, yeah. So that's what brought me to Detroit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, a series of unfortunate events.
Oh, awesome, man. So you were in Parliament, and then now Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah.
So two legendary that's two legendary things. So two impossible acts to follow as well, man. Which were you scared of more if you had to pick?
Oh, man. I don't know. I was terrified of getting the Lynyrd Skynyrd interview. Audition. Yeah, for sure. That was really scary because they were like, look, learn everything note for note. And I knew Billy Powell's stuff was intense. All the keyboard parts are super signature. I mean, the Funkadelic thing was more, it just felt natural. The way I got that gig was I was living in Atlanta, and my sister and I were kind of sharing this squat pad, and she went to audition as a vocalist. Didn't get the gig, but then sent the van back. She's like, oh, my brother plays keyboards. So this weird van pulls into my driveway. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And these guys get out, hey, you play keys? I'm like, yeah. Like, come on down. And like, basically it was just like, you play? Yeah, go ahead, learn this stuff. And so, I knew of Parliament Funkadelic. I knew George Clinton, and I knew the music. And of course, Bernie Worrell was one of my idols, all the stuff that he did with like the Talking Heads, Funkadelic, of course, in his own stuff. So learning that catalog was it was a lot of work, but it was super fun, because I'm an old funk head from way back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the phone call like with George Clinton, or when Skynyrd's camp calls you and says you're the guy?
It was weird because there was no phone call with Clinton. It was just like, yeah, man, you got the gig. Here's $200.
Nice.
I was like, yeah, bonus. With Skynyrd, it was a little different. My friend Marlon from Detroit, who's actually Kid Rock's guitar player now, called and said, hey, Keys, are you in Nashville? I was like, yeah. He's like, I need you to learn Call Me the Breeze, Give Me 3 Steps, Sweet Home Alabama, and Freebird, note for note. I'm like, oh, cool. Are we doing a Skynyrd gig? He's like, no, I got you the audition. I was like, what? I'm like, when's the audition? He's like, Saturday. I'm like, dude, it's Thursday. So basically between Thursday night and Saturday.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, that's all. I just listened to those 4 songs, 18 hours a day. Found every piece of video footage I could to find out, what Billy's fingerings were, and then just did deep dives into the stuff. And it's crazy because a lot of those piano parts are buried in the mix. Yeah, like you can't really hear what's going on. So I had to just really put on my elephant ears and just study. So
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've shared the stage with Isaac Hayes, Snoop Dogg during your P-Funk years. What are some wildest things that you saw during that time that you haven't even talked about?
That I can talk about?
Yeah, that you can talk about. There you go.
Gosh. Well, we did the ESPN Awards with Snoop Dogg on the 1 week that he'd quit smoking weed.
Oh, I was gonna say, because I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna say, did you smoke with Snoop? Because everybody smokes with Snoop.
Yeah, and no, I don't think I was sober yet. But if he had fired one up, I definitely would have.
Oh, of course, you have to with Snoop.
But it was funny because he was kind of off his game, like not high.
Yeah,
it was super funny. But fast forward, about 20 years, and I'm with Skynyrd. And we're doing a show with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, nice.
And like backstage, Snoop and Gary fire up a big old fatty. And of course, I've been sober for like 24 years. So I'm like, shit, I can't get high with the 2 guys. But they're like, smoking a blunt between them. And it was just one of those moments. And I, of course, took a picture, got the picture of Snoop passing Gary a blunt. It was amazing. Just one of those.
Did you get contact?
I did. I got contact high of just being in the environment, not because of the weed, but just because what I was witnessing was so out there. It was like,
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So walk me through your audition with Lynyrd Skynyrd. What song was it that you think, or that they had you play that they're like, all right, this is the one?
Man, it was all of them. I went in there, terrified. My knees were shaking. They sat me down and they're set up in a circle around me and there's a camera up my ass. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't fuck this up. Like there's Johnny Van Zant, Ricky Medlock, Gary Rosington, and like everybody was there. And I just, they're like, all right, let's go. And they started playing and, we played like Call Me the Breeze. I did the solo. We did Give Me 3 Steps. I got through that. Sweet Home Alabama, got through that. Then we get to Freebird. And we're playing Freebird, and it's like I look over, and Dale Rosington, Gary's wife, is like in tears.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, shit, I might actually have this gig.
Yeah.
And we get into the solo, and the solo I learned is not off the live album. So the solo on the live album is longer. And I get to the end of what I thought was the solo, and I was like, oh, shit, do I keep going? They're like, yeah. Dale goes, keep going. And I'm like, okay. And I went kind of with what I thought Billy would do. And it turns out it's exactly what Billy did. Yeah. So, I was like, turned the keyboard off and said, thank you guys for the opportunity, and just walked out because I was terrified.
Yeah. And did you ever, during any performance, have you ever freestyled and did your own thing? No, never just say, fuck it, I'm going to go off right now.
Okay, so let's flash back to Funkadelic, okay?
Okay.
So, like, I went from playing Maggot Brain to playing Freebird. Right, which are 2 notoriously long improvised, odysseys. And I remember one night I'd had like 5 too many Irish car bombs before the show, and we got to Maggot Brain, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take the solo, and I put on my guitar patch and took the keyboard took a guitar solo on the keyboard.
Yeah.
And they docked me $50, and it was totally worth it. It was so
Hell yeah,
fun.
dude. Yeah, fuck it. It's $50, man. But that's awesome. You did it.
Well, I mean, I was
Yeah.
only getting paid $200 a show, so it was a pretty big hit.
Oh yeah. Dude.
But man, that was But no, not with Skynyrd. I mean, there's Funkadelic is such an improvised, fun thing that you can kind of get away with that.
Okay.
But with Skynyrd, it's very much the people come to hear the record. They come to hear the songs the way they remember them. I see people crying, laughing, proposing to each other, stabbing each other. Like the whole gamut of human emotion is, it displayed in that set. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, so you're a musician, but you're also a creator. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You're a producer, keyboardist. You come up with your own original parts. When you create your music, do you come at it as a keyboardist, as a producer, or as a songwriter? How do you approach like your creative?
It's kind of different every time. It depends on like what is the vibe, what am I feeling, what inspired the piece. Sometimes I'll pick up a guitar because it's a little bit less familiar than the keyboard, and it just has a different feel. And then I approach it as a guitar player would, and then I approach the keys. It's like, oh well, is this a mellotron flute part, or is this more of a string part, or is this a piano part, or is this a B3 part? They're all different instruments to me.
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
how you express really depends on what the song is calling for and what the vibe is calling for.
So when you're creating from like an original piece, are you like a Quincy Jones? Are you coming, you're like, all right, you see it ahead of time, and you're like, all right, I think I know how I want this to sound, how I'm going to arrange it? Or do you just go in and just say, see what happens?
Sometimes I throw a lot of paint at the walls, man. I'll sometimes put everything and then start stripping things back, and ideas will kind of present themselves, and then I'll kind of tease that out and see what it is. And a lot of times all the keyboards come out and it turns into something that's like guitar driven or drum driven. It really is different every time, and that's what I love about the creative process is there are no rules.
Exactly. And then so we were talking about your work with Yellow Wolf, which you've done a lot of that too. How is that approach? Like, are you creating based off of his ideas and what he wants, or sometimes you just throw him original ideas? Or
I'm trying to be a conduit for his ideas, right? I try to remove myself and my personal ideas out of it and translate what he's trying to say. I think that's a really valuable thing as a musician, as a producer, is to be able to interpret what the artist wants to hear.
Cool, man. All right, so now we're gonna get into some other questions. What's the what's the strangest or funniest thing that happened during a live show to you? Strangest or funniest?
Strangest or funniest thing? Oh my gosh. I mean, back in the day when I was in Detroit, I shouldn't say this. I'm gonna fucking.
Let's do it, man.
I was playing with this band called Reverend Right Time and the First Cousins of Funk, and the drummer was Daru Jones, who plays for Jack White and a bunch of other people. This was before he got the Jack White gig, and I'd just gotten out of jail.
Nice.
In Detroit, and they had some blow. They gave me some blow, and I did a bunch of it, and I was like, "What's that fucking sound?" And I'm like, "What is that sound?" I look down, and my arms are laying on the keys, and I'm like pressing all the keys. I'm like, "Oh, that's me," because I was having like a bit of a seizure. No, not a seizure, but I was like just way too high to be playing. And then I'd start playing again. I'm like, "Fuck, what's that sound again?" And it happened again. I was just laying with my arms on, like just covering all the keys. Yeah, that was. I mean, I guess that was funny. It was kind of tragic too. You know?
Yeah.
But
but now you can laugh about it. Right?
I can. Yeah.
So what's from classical training to funk to southern rock? What's the weirdest genre jump moment where you training from one world sent you into another?
It's really weird. People ask me that all the time, and they're really similar. The rhythmic and melodic structures of southern rock and funk aren't that far off. It's we're using the same pentatonic scales pretty much. We're using the same progressions pretty much. There's maybe a few more changes in some of the rock stuff, which is weird because funk, you'd think funk would be more change oriented, but it's not. It's I don't know. I can't really separate the two, because to me it's all music and it's all the 12 notes, you know.
Yeah.
Like how do you get into the pocket, really? The pocket's a little more on the backbeat with funk, and it's a little more on top of the beat with the Southern rock stuff. What I did discover, though, is that the difference between Billy Powell's playing and, say, Bernie Worrell's playing is Billy was very on top of the beat, like in front. And what I found is that he did that because the first person to get to the note is the one that gets heard.
Yeah.
Because everybody's so freaking loud.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So he played very much on top of the beat, where Bernie would play on the back side of it, because the last person to hit the note in that genre gets heard. So it really is about how do you show up in the song.
Yeah.
And those are the two main differences, I think, is like one plays farther on the back and one plays further on top.
Okay. And how do you balance honoring classical songs that fans like know for note while still bringing your own personality to like the performance?
I really dig in and dive into what I've understood as the feeling behind the song.
Yeah.
I've got a saying, it says, live in every note, right? Like I really try to execute each note that to the best of my ability, either dead nuts on the beat, right ahead of it, or right behind it, just to stay out of the way of everything else that's going on. It's just about, being very intentional with how we perform.
Yeah. And then so if 19-year-old you, all right, let's go 19-year-old you, which is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
What would he say if he saw you on the Skynyrd stage today?
Oh, no.
What would surprise him the most?
I'm going to go back to the 14-year-old me.
Okay, let's do 14.
14-year-old me sitting in my basement listening to One More from the Road, the album, for the first time.
Okay.
Just like absolutely blown away by this new band that I just discovered.
Yeah.
And then the following day, hearing about the plane crash.
Yeah.
And being absolutely destroyed and pissed off. I'm like, damn it.
Right.
I just found my favorite band and now they're over.
Yeah.
So, flash forward to me sitting on stage playing Give Me 3 Steps. I always flash back to that 14-year-old me.
Yeah.
Listening to the record on the turntable going, I could never possibly play this.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a time warp, and it's this weird like dual existence of that 14-year-old me is still me.
Yeah.
Like I still, act like see the world like that.
Yeah.
But now I'm on the stage performing the things that, I thought were impossible
to do. Yeah. My full circle moment was, I remember I was a bad kid, hanging out, drinking 40s with some of my friends, listening to Nelly Country Grammar and thinking like, oh, this is dope music. Never heard it before. I'm never going to be a part of any of that stuff. And then being, working with them 3 years and in the studio creating records, it's, those full circle moments are just insane. And I don't know if you had it where you just like your brain just almost like it's like a euphoria high that you're like, oh my God. Yeah.
Every night on stage, I experienced that feeling. It's it was really weird too, getting the P-Funk gig. The gig I got was with the original Parliaments, where they were the singers that were Parliament with George. Then when they got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they'd split and they started their own thing. Mm-hmm. So I basically jumped ship from there to play with the 420 Funk Mob with George Clinton and some of the other, alumni. But I remember being in San Francisco playing with some of the bands that I was playing with there, and everybody's like, dude, you got to check out George Clinton. Dude, you got to check out Funkadelic. And I'd never checked it out until I got the gig.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like I've never seen a Skynyrd show that I haven't been in.
Right.
Right? So like experiencing all this stuff from that side of the curtain, it's just really weird. It's surreal. That's the only way that I can describe it.
That's awesome. And this is funny, what's the one story that people ask you about that, and I don't know, you're probably sick of it already, and I'm asking you again, is there one story that people ask you about all the time, or one thing they ask you?
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of them, the audition for sure was one, the call that I got back from Skynyrd was like, hey, we thought you were great. Thank you for being prepared. And like in my head, I'm like, who comes unprepared to this audition? And apparently everybody else came unprepared. So when I went back for the second audition, I saw the keyboard player for the Black Crowes, Eddie Harsh, was there. And Marlon, who gave me the call, said, hey, man, the only person you need to worry about is Eddie Harsh. Yeah. But don't really worry because he won't do his homework. So I get there and Eddie Harsh is coming out and he's flustered. He's just like, shit, those guys are crazy. They play everything in the wrong key. He didn't learn it in the right key. And he went in there and tried to improvise through the stuff. So I went back in and just nailed all the parts. You know, I walked in and like, what do you want to play? I said, let's run the set. Yeah. And they're like, what? I said, yeah, let's run the set. They're like, well, we're still auditioning bass players. I'm like, cool, play whatever you want.
And we were just talking about that, and you said, you know, you're always just striving and just moving forward. You like nothing's stopping you. What motivates you? Like, what keeps you going?
I do the shit like my life depends on it. Yeah, because my life depends on it. Yeah, like if you're a musician or you want to be a musician or an artist, there's no backup plan. Yeah, right. Like this is it. If you really want it, you have to do it like your life depends on it. So
yeah, and you're passionate about it. I can hear it in your music.
Oh yeah,
yeah, you got a passion for it, and it's funny because a lot of people want to get into music, but only they think about money first. And I was telling myself, I said, no, you got to come in a passion. The money will come if you really push hard and you really show that what you can do, it's going to come. But if you go in there like, I just want to make money, it's not going to happen. And there's rare cases where it does, but then that's your one thing, and then you're done. Yeah. And most of the time, those people spend all their money and then they have nothing to show for it. Right. So, yeah, man. But like I said, like every time I hear your stuff, and even you were playing us some music, and I'm like, dude, there's so much passion in there. You love it. You know what I mean? No one's asking you to make some of the stuff you're doing. You're just doing it because you love creating.
Yeah. So. I mean, again, this is my way to express, you know, feeling. Right. And just experience and things in life that doesn't get lost in translation like language.
Exactly.
You know?
And I will say you're kind of a hoarder, but, you know, it's okay. It's all of us to collect things.
Look, I'm not going to lie. There's at least 13 more keyboards up in the house. And two,
really,
and two actual pianos.
But this is a different type of hoarding. This is awesome, amazing. This is a museum. I'll just tell you guys that right now. We're actually probably going to go around on the camera and just to look if you're okay with it.
Well, think about it. Hey, if you're a mechanic, how many wrenches do you need? Yeah, all of them. Yeah, right. Exactly. Like you get to that 12 millimeter bolt and you don't have this wrench. What are you going to do? Use your teeth?
Right. No. And these are your tools. And it's, you know, what's funny too is a lot of people have these wars about what's the best DAW, what's the best keyboards. And it's whatever you like using and whatever makes you creative, because how can you say something's better than another? Because I could be great at using a shitty keyboard against somebody that has a fucking Oberheim or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh, another funny story about the Skynyrd audition. Yeah. This is the one. So I get there
naked.
I get there. I forgot to wear pants.
Yeah. Fuck. That's why you got it.
Yeah. No, I get there and they've got this shitty Casio keyboard, or it was like a Kurzweil with like horrible action. Oh, wow. And they did that shit on purpose. They wanted to see who complained about it, right? And I was like, oh, you guys got me a Nerf keyboard. Cool, let's go. And like every other keyboard player was like, hey, let me bring in my rig. Yeah. And I was like, no, fuck that. We're just going to do it on this. And that, like Ricky and Johnny later said that was by design. They wanted to see if you could perform on this, you can perform on anything. So, I mean, it fazed me just a little bit, but I was like, no, this is too important for me to worry about, like, oh, this is a shitty keyboard, you know?
And there's people, and I'm sure I've experienced a lot in my life where they would walk away. Just, I'm not doing this shit. That's, you know what I mean? I'm above this. Right. You know? No. And what happens is that breaks down, and all they have is that keyboard to back you up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, just give me a piano. I'm good.
What does Lynyrd Skynyrd mean to you in 2026? That it didn't in 2009 when you first joined?
It's the legacy. You know, it's really about carrying the feeling of Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's a feeling. Yeah. You know, it's not the band, it's not the music, it's a feeling. That's what, you know, I was trying to explain to somebody what the music meant. And it's a feeling that these people that are watching have. They experience either, you know, a flashback to an older time, or, you know, a picture of the future or whatever. These songs just mean so much to so many people.
Yeah.
Like I have a very high reverence for it, and the legendary personality of Ronnie Van Zant and Billy Powell and Leon Wilkinson and all of those guys just created something that can't be touched.
Yeah.
By modern day, in my opinion. That's
Yeah, no, I agree. What's so you've been through massive changes in the music industry through your career.
Yeah.
What do you think today is something that you think is great, and what's something that you think is worse?
Well, I mean, I think it's both, right? Like the unlimited access to the internet, right? Like
for like porn, or you mean for music?
Yes, for porn music.
There you go.
Yeah,
porn music.
But Napster was.
I'm getting into that now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Napster was just such a huge hit to the way that we generate income.
Yeah. Oh, it fucked me bad.
Yeah, like there's no selling music anymore. Like music is free. That pisses me off. It's like the amount of work that I put into a single track.
Yeah,
I can't quantify that with a price.
Yeah.
But the fact that I have to just release it and give it away still kind of chafes my ass a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's also, the flip side of that is that I have, access to all the people in the world.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just want to make one person's favorite song and just do that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Like for real. So I have the ability to do that without having to get into a huge 360 deal and deal with like the cross collateralization of all these other artists and like the whole business behind it.
Yeah.
It's a shit show. But that's why I built this place. I'm about to launch Stoner Creek Records, which is my own imprint.
Shout out Stoner Creek Records.
I can release music whenever I want, however I want, to the world, and for me, that's huge. So it's that double-edged sword of like the value of the song has gone pretty much to nothing, but the value of the expression is infinite. So
and no one's ever gonna stop wanting to be creative.
No.
And that's why I say, like, there's always going to be people want to get into music. Why would you not want to? You know what I mean? So that's never going to go away. But what do you think the worst thing is? And we talked about, you talked about some bad things, but what's the worst thing you think that we have ahead of us?
I mean,
you think it's AI?
I think it's AI,
Okay.
I mean, just parts of AI, but there's also benefits to AI, you know, like I don't see anything as better, worse, good or bad, black or white. Everything is very gray for me. I try to stay in that middle lane. Yeah, it's like no judgment. It's like, okay, this is what I have to work with. This is what I have to work against. Whatever, man. It's like I do the shit like my life depends on it, so I'm going to make it work.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and I think that's how I've stayed relevant my whole career, is because I adapted to whatever came. I didn't just quit when I'm like, fucking Pro Tools, like I'm using a kneeboard. I'm
drum machine.
That.
Wait a minute, come on.
And a lot of people have in their careers is they're like, I'm not adapting to that. I'm not going to use Pro Tools. Oh, we downloading music? No, I'm done. I'm not going to put music out anymore. Oh, virtual instruments and virtual DAWs. Like, no, I'm done.
Auto tune, come on.
Oh yeah,
learn how to sing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
In pitch.
But also, that's there were if people didn't try things like, what do you think distortion came from? It's pushing speakers,
right?
You would have never had that, and we all love that.
We wouldn't have rock and roll without that.
We wouldn't have rock and roll. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is when COVID hit, that was a huge hit to the industry. Yeah. Right, like all touring stopped. Yeah. Bus companies went out of business. Techs went out of business. The whole industry just went dead. And what did I do? I went on Facebook and did quarantine tunes. I recorded.
You said porn tunes?
Quarantine.
Okay.
Quarantine porn tunes. But I recorded a song every day, like on the piano. Yeah. And I covered all of like a bunch of my favorite songs, and people loved it. So
that's awesome.
I took that negative thing and tried to turn it into a positive. Yeah. And I gained a bunch of fans. A bunch of people are still like, man, thank you so much for doing that. That got us through this horrible time where we're stuck at home, And then the other thing I want to say about that is deeming whole industries as what was it called? Not important, but non-necessary or
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
what was it? What was
I can't think either.
What was the word? They called us something. It was bad, not unnecessary, but
Not essential?
non-essential.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. So like all musicians are non-essential. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Like this is how we find joy. This is how we grieve. This is how we celebrate.
Yeah, it's my
music.
therapy. That's how people all the
Right.
time. I make music because it's my therapy.
So like to call me non-essential was that that hurt. And so I had to figure out how to work through that. But again, I think that probably created somewhat of a psychological pandemic.
Yeah.
After we started rolling again, there are people that are still like, "Oh, I'll never be a musician. I'm non-essential." So, anyways,
Yeah, like I said, we talked about that. I said, AI is going to have its boom. It's having its boom, and I feel like it's going to go back to musicians, and then we're going to be the rare ones that people are like, "Oh, we need that again." Like, I'm so tired of sitting here in a theater watching a fake artist play music or whatever, wherever the fuck it goes.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's going to thin the herd too.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like that was my initial thought. It's like, well, good. All these fakers or all these, these posers, these wannabes are going to get
prompters
phased out quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think AI is a great tool. I use it for my business. It helps me put stuff together and keeps me on task. So, I mean, I'm not going to hate on it 100%.
Yeah.
And, COVID is a very unfortunate thing. A lot of people lost their lives, but that's when my business, of being online and licensing music boomed because everybody was stuck at home. So like I ran Facebook ads and fucking like 50 times whatever I spent, 50x, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you have to adapt to whatever happens. And like that during that, I mean, I was scared to death during that time. I mean, I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, all right, but I still have to pay my bills. What am I going to do?
Fucking unemployed.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about being a musician. You're unemployed after every gig.
Yeah.
So you have to hustle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's one of the most craziest people you've ever met backstage that you were just weren't expecting, but you're like, holy shit. Like, yeah, it could have been one of your shows or whatever.
The Susan Sarandon from Three's Company. That was awesome.
Susan Sarandon's huge.
Yeah. Al Pacino.
Wow.
Great guy.
Scarface, for all you young people. Well, you probably know that just from the rap world.
De Niro.
Oh, both of the fucking classicals. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
classic guys.
You never know who's going to show up at a Skynyrd show, man.
Yeah.
It's like we get all kinds of people. Frasier was there. You know.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. I'm like, is this my life? What's going on?
Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah. So I have a show that I actually filmed called The Hit Kitchen. We did it at Jelly Roll's bar. And basically, I wanted to put the spotlight on producers. We never get the spotlight. It's always about singers and dancers and all that. And you never get to see what a producer or someone who creates. So my concept was basically take the Food Network shows where you have to pick ingredients. You have to, you have 20 minutes to cook a fucking steak dinner with fucking hamburger meat. And so we did that with producers. And basically we put head to head. They have 3 ingredients. It could be you have to make, fuse genres such as reggaeton with country.
Right.
And, one of them, we had a rubber chicken noise, and we said, all right, you got to make this rubber chicken sound in your track, and it has to be prominent. And then sometimes maybe halfway through they have to switch tracks and finish it. So basically we took that concept because it's hard to show what we do if you're just sitting here with your headphones, just going like that, right?
Yeah.
So by doing that, we gave them 30 minutes to cook up. We call it the cook up because of Hit Kitchen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So that's a show. We're actually finishing editing that right now. We're going to put it out. But the reason I bring this up is because I want to know what your 3 ingredients you think someone has to have to be successful in the music world today.
In a track or in the music world?
Just in the music. If someone just new to I want to get into music and I want to make it. What do you think those 3 ingredients? Whether they're a musician, a producer,
Top
whatever.
of my head, you need imagination, you need drive, and you need persistence.
Okay.
Or patience.
Well, and you bring up persistence a lot because I think that's you. You're just like, I'm going at it. I'm going to keep going at it.
No, you don't quit.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I've got this thing called the cockroach theory. I don't know if you can see. There's a cockroach tattooed on my arm.
I thought it was a cock. Okay, but now there's a roach in there too. Okay, it's a cockroach. Yeah. Okay.
And the two rules are don't die and don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And you'll be successful by default. Just by doing what we do nonstop.
Yeah.
And don't piss everybody off because nobody wants to hang out with a pill. Man. You know what I mean?
Unless you're a powerful dick and they seem to win for some reason. But I know, but in our world, yeah,
but nobody wants to fuck with them.
But no one wants them. Yeah, and you're gonna die with people hating you.
Right, and
no one's gonna be there for you.
But I mean, that goes to any field.
Yeah,
right. It's like obviously you have to have a certain level of skill and technique in the music business, but you know the biggest part is the hang, man. It's like I'm with a band. We're playing for 90 minutes a night. That's 22 and a half hours of a day that I have to be around these other people, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like we don't get paid to play. We get paid to travel.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you for being on the Wishlist podcast. You know, I would say tell people where to find you, but you can always find Peter Keys. He's part of fucking Lynyrd Skynyrd. But also, because you're doing your label, where can they find you? And what's coming next?
PeterKeys.com. Just shoot me an email there. Stoner Creek Records, Stoner Creek on Instagram, Peter Keys on Instagram, Facebook, blah, 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 you know. Yeah.
And what's coming? What's next?
I'm releasing, I think I've got 30 songs I'm releasing over the next 30 months, like one a month.
Nice.
Got a new artist, Katie Calhoun. I just finished her record. Working on another project out of California and just, you know, dropping music as often as I can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
oh, and of course, Skynyrd Tour. We're touring with Foreigner this year. We've got 30 dates with them. Starts next month. Going to be all over the United States and Canada, and then I think we probably go back to Europe next year.
Awesome. I'm gonna hit you up. I want to go to one.
Also,
you got the hookup? Can I get the hookup to go to Lynyrd Skynyrd concert? Or?
We'll see what we can do.
Oh, there we go. That means no. Maybe I'll get a T-shirt.
Also, my side project, the All Time Low Stars, will be playing at 3rd and Lindsley here in Nashville in October. It's either the 11th or the 18th. Haven't locked down.
Can
the
I get
date
a ticket
yet.
to that?
Yeah, I can get you tickets to that.
There you go. I'm getting that one.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you. You're a great guy. And I look at you as a good friend now, and man, we're gonna be working together,
we're
guys.
We got neighbors, dude.
Yeah, dude. I live really close to him. I didn't even know that. And we got some shit coming. I'm not even gonna announce it yet, but we're gonna do some cool shit. You know, especially for producers out there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, thanks again, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Wish.